So we've arrived in Limoges. And the cathedral is the centre of the Brocante. So we're heading for the cathedral in the hope that the Brocante won't be too far. Isn't that just amazing? Let's just take that in for a second. Look at that. The intricacy of, you've got flying buttresses and beautiful tall windows, gargoyles. Oh, Anna would like that. She loves bird cages. We don't have birds. We don't agree with the birds, but we like the cages. Shirley would have been in the textiles. Also, she would like the mannequin. Anna would like the wicker work. These are old cable drums, which is used. I've got some timber. I've got a top better than that. It's about 2 or 3 times the thickness. Gives you some idea. Look at this, just here, look. Little tower. Can smell the khaki green of the ex-government store. Unfortunately, I've got too much of this stuff. And it's caught that. So it's 11 o'clock. We're calling that in. I bet that makes a nice tone. That bell. So there's a cathedral there, just to give you an idea of scale. It goes down this road here. And then there's a little bit just here. And then it wraps all the way up the main street here. So lots of road closures and all sorts. And it's reassuring to see all these people. A lot of people say all the towns that we go to are deserted. Well, it's not that. They're just very small communes with a small community. You come into the bigger towns and cities and, you know, it's like normal city life. And we've caught this garage before from this road just here, walking up there. Never really saw around the back of it. But the only reason I thought we'd stop and film it quickly is it's a real bastion to 1920s Art Deco architecture. Imagine when this was built, motor vehicles were just in their infancy, really, for public, everyday public use. So, sort of, what would you say this was? Sort of late 20s, could even be earlier 20s, but probably latest 30s. And you would have come here and you would have seen your cars at the bottom here. We'll have a look in a second, but I would imagine you could still get vehicles right up to the top floor. I imagine there's a in that rotunda there's probably a spiral ramp. Isn't that incredible though? Yeah, unfortunately the building has been long since repurposed, so it looks like a restaurant now occupies the ground floor. So pretty much I imagine one of these would that have been the entrance to the ramp to get up onto the other floors? And this was sort of showroom space, but obviously that's all long gone. So they probably would have taken the ramp out as well, I would have thought. But there we go, it's still got its signage on it. It's still very, very obviously deco. And look at it in the landscape of all the Regency architecture. So we're just heading back to the car. We've just run into Shirley and Mark. They're having a quick drink. But we're parked quite some way away, so we're heading back now. We are here. Happy anniversary.
Thank you.
Cheers, thank you.
To Shirley and Mark. It's an anniversary day today. We're at a very special restaurant, hotel restaurant. It's got tablecloths and everything, so it's really posh.
And just 15 minutes down the road from the Brocante.
The Brocante. So
we've been at since
About
6 o'clock this morning.
silly o'clock.
Yeah.
From silly o'clock.
So I've got to ask two questions on the Brocante. Okay. What was your prize buy? In other words, something you don't often see which was lovely, and what's the one with the most profit?
The best buy today is the wonderful little scrolls, 19th century scrolls with little finials on.
Wow.
With little
Numbers.
little numbers all over. Not even sure what they're for, but they're so beautiful. They're like mini scrolls.
A manual
Oh, wow.
calculator.
And
Really?
The item with the most profit is
Not necessarily the most glamorous, I
not
take it.
necessarily what flicks my switches the most, but there was a big pile of textile on the floor. Somebody had
Some nice textiles.
emptied an attic, and it was all filthy dirty, so I dived in. That's why I'm dusting.
I don't
And I
think I
think
bought
that's
them.
probably when it's washed.
I don't
It's
think
gonna
I
be the
bought
most
an
messes.
antique.
You didn't buy a Mantique of the week
Did
today.
I not recommend?
No automotive stuff or
Mark's Mantique of
Yes.
the week.
No.
You did a Mantique of the week.
fireman's helmet, no shiny
Oh, no,
helmet?
there
No
was something.
helmets.
I bought that wedding bouquet, which
You
I chose that one.
I love the gesture for wedding bouquet. Is that
Yeah, that's right. And then it expands outwards like that. with
like a
flowers,
magician's?
with flowers on.
plastic? Brilliant.
So, but we're not the only ones in this lovely restaurant
Yes. So
today.
look, we've got some other people.
Yep. But we are going to celebrate.
Excellent. And look, here's the menu. Surprisingly, the menu's all in French. Look.
Wow. Anybody would think we were in France.
And it's got some beautiful grounds. So we've got our starters have arrived,
Is that edible?
Tons of it growing
You've got a little flower.
and so
You've got a
that's.
little flower.
I've got a little flower. Look, and these are our
these
starters.
edible?
Yes.
Do you want my flower?
I'm going in.
And Shelley and I have got the same.
Can you eat that?
Going in, I'm not afraid.
I don't know if
go
you eat
for
that
it,
or not.
Mark.
Well, I think I've got my dessert at the same time. They put a sorbet on top of my salad, my
wonderful.
tomato salad.
Okay, chin chin. So we're just about to start. Miss Anna, what have you got?
Beef.
Beef, the same as me. And Shirley there's got the chicken. Looks very nice.
With myrtles.
Pintard.
With berries.
Well, I have beef.
The best choice. Cheers. The king.
The king.
Toast the king.
Yes, what's that? The king.
The king.
Toast the king.
Yeah.
For the king.
The king.
King. God,
Charles III.
God bless him. So we've just left that lovely restaurant, the Hotel de Voyager. We had a lovely lunch, and it was lovely to see Shirley and Mark for their anniversary. Wasn't that nice?
Yeah.
And Anna has found on the way home, so we're just going there now, a very grand Regency looking chateau, which is very much lived in, but we love architecture, so we thought we'd just have a quick look at that. So we're going to have a look at that on the way home. Chateau de Walmart. So the granary building there, just on the right, This drive is absolutely enormous. Just look how far we've come down already. So what an estate this must have been. That's the granary. Look at it. It's like a factory. It's enormous. But you know, one thing that caught my eye was this. Isn't that beautiful? That's much more manageable. So I imagine this might have been the gatekeepers, the gardener's cottage. Let's go and have a look, shall we? Oh, it's had a lot of work. New ceilings. New floor. I imagine it's having new windows. Your own cellar. Wow. Don't know if you can see that. This is the staircase returning. It's quite a tight return, but it's got a beautiful twist in it. It twists around like this. I don't want to go in because it's not derelict. It's obviously having work done to it. So this is not something that's been abandoned. Yeah, there's building materials everywhere. Isn't that beautiful? But if it's for sale, we've got the estate agent's details, so we'll see how much it is. Maybe it's one of these sort of abandoned projects. They've done so much, run out of money. I'm very tempted just to have a quick look inside. Shall I? Shall I have a quick look inside? Let's have a quick look inside. I'm not breaking in anything. Here we go. There it is. Quite small. You've got a kitchen, lounge, and then there'd be, I imagine, a little toilet through here and the staircase upstairs. What a place to live. It's very unusual the way that brickwork is blown like that. I've not seen that before. Maybe the frost has got into it. Movement down the middle of the building here, look. So maybe that side is falling away. Upsets me with a lot of these buildings is the damage that takes place is just because of neglect. The building is solid but never meant to, say, take water in, and so naturally it just suffers. And look, that's a very unusual connection there, look. It's like a standalone roof. You'd normally have, the roof would normally come in and there'd be a hip joint running up to there. So that would come across and there'd be a hip joint down, but it's like two standalone roofs. That's very unusual. Anyway, I've lost Anna. So that can only mean she's gone in. Let's see if we can find her.
Got this huge driveway. Goes right round in a big circle.
Yeah.
So they're packing up.
English? They're French, I take it,
They're
with
French.
Francois as a
I don't
name.
speak any English.
Okay.
Yeah, so they're packing up.
And what's the problem? Is it money or?
I should think.
Oh, they're packing up a wedding, or they're packing up the chateau?
Looks like they're packing up the chateau.
So I've been able to find out a little bit more about Walmarth Castle, or Walmarth Chateau, that we visited yesterday. It was actually built by Jean-Baptiste Migon, and he's interesting because he was one of the engineers on the Eiffel Tower. Anyway, he built in 1858 and it had 200 hectares, and at the time it was built it was completely autonomous with electricity, water and food production. He had a model farm and greenhouses and walled gardens and so on. And at its peak, the chateau had 180 employees working on the maintenance of the chateau and its park. And unfortunately, a bit of a sad story. Upon his death, the estate was handed over to his daughter, and she immediately sold it. And then later on, less scrupulous owners didn't hesitate selling his finest pieces, and all the statues in the park were taken out. And then sadly in '93 there was a massive looting operation that took place. They had lost the gates, the staircases in the ballroom, and even the canopies inside the chateau were stolen. Fast forward to 1994, the Duchambon family, who are the present owners, bought the chateau and embarked on converting it to a hotel and complex, and a fantastic job. Unfortunately, another lesson learned here, as with so many others, they've run out of funds. And so presently, as you know, the chateau is now up for sale.